Hey guys, DFW's Cars here. How's it going? I am here today with a giant Mazda sedan. No, I'm just kidding. The Mazda CX-9, which, as you'll see in the review, actually feels like you're driving just a big Mazda sedan. So let's check it out. I've had it for about an hour, probably been driving it for less than half an hour. A little background, I have driven, BMW X5, Porsche SUVs, Mercedes large SUVs, and in this class of car, I've driven the Honda Pilot, I've driven the Toyota Highlander, so I have a really good sense of, larger mid-size type SUVs. But I buy the best car from the best company, which may make me a good unbiased car reviewer. This is by far, I used to own a Grand Cherokee too. This is by far the best SUV I have ever driven in terms of all-around performance. Excited to be in it. I wanted to have that little disclaimer in the beginning here. The changes in the 2016 and 2017 CX-9 are minimal, so if you can pick up a 2016 and save some money, or you're looking for a used one, it is all new for that year. Mazda's definitely integrated all their classical styling cues in here, but they've made it ever so much nicer. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about.
This is not a reflection. The grille is lit. The only other car I know doing that is Mercedes as an add-on.
This grille cover here is glass. It's a little thing, but it looks so much nicer than a plastic one would. Small touch, but it's an important one. There's so many others on this car we'll be talking about. Let's take a walk around, check out that engine, exhaust, take it for a drive.
Outside of how well this SUV drives, best part is how it looks. It looks premium, it looks upscale, yet it still looks as sporty as something this large can. 20-inch rims just were a great choice down there. Very angular, very sporty here. It does remind me of Infinity's a little bit, but it definitely has Mazda's unique touch. Great swooping roof line here, kind of Acura-esque, but in a good way. It does have a roof line up here as well and some pitch to it, which doesn't limit interior dimensions. Love this strip of chrome down here. It kind of holds the whole car together, makes it cohesive with the... I like Mazda on all their cars. They put the driving matters, which you can tell they have paid attention in this car. There's even a little bit of a spoiler up there as well. So the engine in this car is going to be a lot smaller than you'd expect in a full-size SUV. This is probably the largest example of Mazda's Skyactiv technology. And what's cool about this engine is the power numbers it gets from such a small engine, but BMW started using two small turbos.
The best way to describe the turbo on this engine is like if you're using your garden hose. Sometimes you can put your finger over a lot of it, and sometimes you can put your finger over less and change the flows that way. That's kind of like the engine in this car, and turbo lag next to non-existent. Power, it's a very torquey engine, is super solid. It feels quick.
When you open the door to this SUV, you are just greeted to an absolutely gorgeous interior. This wood actually has a kind of natural feel to it. It's a nice touch. Let's move on over to the dash. Beautiful steering wheel. Got the sporty 3-spoke here. Metal accents on the bottom, metal accents there. These color-coded trim pieces here. The seats are just absolutely very comfortable, and it's a very nice soft touch leather, and they have little style details here. Even the buttons down here for the seat controls are chromed off.
Now, there are a few small features here that would be missing from a Range Rover or a Mercedes, and it's 20 grand less, and in some cases half the price. So those I think can be forgiven, like a panoramic sunroof in back. A true all-wheel drive capacity, I wouldn't take this somewhere I'd take my Grand Cherokee. How many times have you really done that? You could, you could go mild, the off-roading 90% of us do when we off-road through some fields and stuff like that, puddles, stuff like that. You can do that in this because it does have all-wheel drive. It has a fairly decent ride height. Automatics could be a little bit better.
although this is higher definition, and it might actually look okay on the video even though this is in 4K, then a lot, you can't actually see individual pixels down here. So there are other cars out there that have a higher definition screen and that's larger, but it's very nicely integrated in there, I will give it that. What's surprising about that is this screen here is so high definition, they've actually put graphics on there, you know, for what your door looks like inside. The head-up display is a little bit hard to see there, but what's cool about it is when you're on the road, it'll display speed limit information and also what's in your blind spot. If I was having to do a 5 things I hate about this SUV type video, I'd kind of be nitpicking, like no panoramic sunroof, meh. People in back, very large windows and stuff like that, so you still get a lot of sun back there. Lane keeping assistance, I'd have to research, but I don't know that it's active, so hopefully they'll add active lane keeping assist. The reason I make a big deal about active lane keeping assistance versus lane keeping assistance, if you can hold your hand on the wheel, just steer in any sort of direction, that essentially makes the car on a straight-ish highway autonomous, because if you're holding your hand there, it won't say hold the wheel, it'll keep the lane, and if someone with smart cruise control, if someone pulls in front of you, it'll brake, or the car in front of you, you know, slows down, it'll slow down. So you still need to pay attention, but essentially you have some autonomy. Down this console here, it's just a very nice interior. Like, it's definitely hard to find fault with it, between the chrome and the wood, and you know, even the leather bits down there. It's nicer than anything else in this class, and it's as nice as any luxury SUV, you know, under 100,000 out there for the most part. And this one is just incredible at night. When you get in, there's LEDs here in the door, and then there's also, you know, all the chrome really shines nicely. Also LED lighting down there and on the passenger side. And there's kind of cool, there's dual LEDs in here. So this is the entry lights, but you can also make them brighter. There's also an LED in the door handle there, so you can always find the door handle. Also very nice in back. Sometimes, you know, cars are nice up front and Spartan and barren in back. Not this guy. You got the stitching there, you got the interior matching trim there. You got actual chrome door handles there, well as, you know, chrome surrounds down there. Speaker grill have the chrome surrounds. There is a 3-zone climate control, and it's a true one. It actually has its own fan and blower back here, which is a little more common on SUVs, but it's rare enough that it's still a nice feature to have. There is a 3rd row seat. It's not huge, but it is big enough that I could sit back there. It's tight, but it is big enough. Coming back to check out storage space, I'll show you these lights while that's opening. They're just, I mean, it's almost lights right off the Miata, really just bigger and higher there, and so it looks nice. But yeah, nice storage space, power open and close back there, which is a nice feature. And then these, of course, fold down flat. What's cool is when you're folding them down, the first step folds the headrest down, seat forward there, and then you get actually a pretty remarkable amount of room. Pretty class-leading amount of storage space. Another nice touch, when those are up, they recline and go forward and back. So you can adjust the legroom for the folks back here, or also for the folks up there, depending on your needs. All right, so let us take it for a drive. So the actual driving of this car is pretty, let me finish that. Hey, there's a camera back there. Again, it's not as high definition as it could be, you know, but it's not bad by any sense of the word. Driving dynamics of this car, the best way I can describe it to you is it feels like you're driving just a big Mazda sedan. So you get used to the size, you can toss it quite easily. There is some body roll by car standards, however by SUV standards, it's extreme. It's definitely a sporty SUV, which for something this large and in this price point is extremely rare compared to the Pilot, the Highlander. I mean, you're getting German handling here. The all-wheel drive system is great. The steering is super precise, super good. And let's test out the acceleration. Oh, Man, the torque, the wave of torque on this car is just incredible. Want to do one more acceleration pull where I can have a bit more of a straightaway here from, you know, 0. All right, got it in sport mode, got the launch control. There's no launch control. It's a large SUV, but let's check it out. Wow, it just really kicks. It's beyond anything you'd think you'd need in an SUV this big, especially given the fuel economy numbers. You know, just driving it around town for the most part, I've been getting 17 miles a gallon, and that's a lot of stop and go, a lot of lights. When I had it on the highway, I was getting, you know, approaching 30 miles a gallon. So given the size and the fact this SUV doesn't feel slow, that's incredible. Let's take a turn here. So the tires, you can definitely tell will squeal and protest. The chassis on this car, the suspension, everything Mazda has done works together so beautifully. It feels so much smaller. It feels more nimble. It just feels great. The kind of cranberry red leather on this car was an awesome choice. So this is kind of the part of the video where I say, you know, would I buy this car and how it compares to the competitors. Knocks all the competitors out of the water in terms of, you know, what you get for the money. This is truly a luxury SUV at, you know, a price point similar to, say, the Highlander or the Pilot, or, you know, any other large SUV. 40, just around 40, 45, fully loaded out. Here, nice. This isn't about taking the turns, but it's nice to know you can for those times that you need to. Yeah, no one else really has in a large SUV outside of the Germans and, you know, the British to some degree, a car-like feel in it. They all still feel like trucks. Good handling trucks, but trucks nonetheless. I actually was considering, you know, when I have a family, picking up like a used Q7, because I think that's a pretty extraordinary SUV. The problem is this: a used Q7 is the same price as this SUV new. And if you were, you know, picked up a used one of these in you know, once they start coming out, or a demonstrator, get like a year-end closeout deal, this could, you know, be in the $30,000 range. So yeah, I would buy this with my own money, and, you know, I've actually enjoyed driving it, and that's a huge testament. That's what my channel is all about. And, you know, when I heard I was getting a big SUV, I was like, okay, it's a Mazda, that's cool, but it's a big SUV. But I've had a blast with it. It's been a ton of fun. So if you guys have any questions in the comments, let me know. Until next time, guys, drive on.